You've written about Diaspora-Israel Relations in your previous book, and we in America are experiencing antisemitic and antizionist rhetoric and violence, unlike what many of us have experienced before. And college campuses, as was seen by the testimony of the university presidents to Congress, reflect a horrifying reality. What can Americans do to support Israel, and what can Israel do to support American Jewry?
Well, look, I think Americans, first of all, it has to be said, American Judaism has responded to this thing in an unprecedented way, and in a way that that Israelis feel really unbelievably embraced. First of all, $1 billion was raised since October 7th. That's a lot of money. By any standard, that's a lot of money. And the money's going to things that really matter. Eventually, we're going to need a lot more money. We're going to have to rebuild all those kibbutzim. We are going to have so many broken-hearted human beings walking around. I mean, I don't know if you saw the kid who was killed, 23-year-old kid who was killed a couple days ago, I think on Thursday or Friday, the picture of him in the paper with his 3-week-old daughter. She's 23, the bride, the wife, the mother. I mean, you know how many young widows there are who are 22, 23, 24 years old? We lost a student at Shalem. We lost a student who finished his freshman year last year, left behind a 3-year-old girl and a 1-year-old girl. There are going to be so many families that need healing, not now and not next year and not for the next decade, but for as long as these people are alive. And we're not even talking about the hostages. We can only pray that we get them out. We're going to need a lot of support, and some of it the government will be able to pay for and some of it won't, but I think we feel very embraced. The people that have come over and that have gone to meet soldiers, the soldiers that get the postcards that people were talking about earlier tonight, they actually read them on the news. Here's what they do. This is actually real. Some journalist gets to some unit in Gaza or wherever, or then when they come out, sometimes they get in, and the soldier holds up the letter and says, you know, there is a Neely out there in 5th grade who wrote me this letter. Here's what the letter looks like, and he shows the camera. He goes, I don't know who you are and where you are, but I want you to find me. Here's how to reach my parents, whatever. I want to come and thank you because the letter made me feel great. It's like the sweetest thing in the world. Doesn't necessarily save lives, but it heals hearts. I think that one of the many things that's emerged here is a sense of achdut, not only inside of Israel, but among the Jewish world at large. I mean, everybody in Israel is saying, you know, we're never going back to where we were on October 6th, right? Because on October 6th, we were ready to tear the country apart. And now we are bound together as never before. Let's not be entirely naive. There are eventually going to be elections, and it's not going to be sugar and spice and all things nice. And certain people who will go unnamed right now are probably not going to resign so quickly, and Israeli politics are going to bubble back to the surface, and it's going to get ugly, but it probably won't get back to what it was. At least I hope and pray that it won't get back to what it was. But neither will a lot of American Jews who for a while thought Israel might be a nice to have, but it's certainly not a need to have. They now get that a Jewish state is a need to have. And I think Israelis also feel a sense of it. They understand that while this is not really about Israel, Israel did trigger some of what's happening in America. And there's a sense of, I mean, we didn't choose to have it happen, but it did happen. And I think there's a sense on the part of many Israelis that we're also in this together. So if there's wise leadership on both sides of the ocean, religious leader, cultural leadership, intellectual leadership, journalistic leadership, all sorts of leadership, educational leadership, rabbinic leadership, I mean, on all different sides, this is an opportunity to heal not only the Israeli public, but to heal the very torn fabric of the Jewish people. This is a moment with huge potholes and landmines strewn everywhere, but it's also a moment very pregnant with potential and possibility. I want us to hope and pray that we experience as little of the former and make as much advantage as we can of the latter.